I'm ready for printing now, so I'm preparing my inks. The inks that I use are Gamblin relief inks, and here I'm using black, and I'm also using a brown colour. I'll put in the notes below which shades they are in due course. They are quite thick inks, so I'm going to add in a little bit of what they call burnt plate oil, which is the oil that these inks are based on. So just a little touch there, mixing it well. I have increased the speed of the video here because it does take quite a while to get the consistency right. So it's a nice working consistency. And again with the brown I'm doing the same. So I'm using black and brown for the cat because we had a cat called Jack, who's no longer with us sadly, but I remember him very well being a black cat definitely, but he had a very nice touch of brown in there as well. So in honour of Jack, that's what I'm doing. So I'm just checking here some of the shading on there. It's very difficult to see from this angle and in this light, but there are very subtle differences in the shades of black stroke brown here. So again, this is just something that I would normally do with testing my colours. So I'm now applying the ink to the plate, working it quite well into some of the bits where I've actually torn away the surface of the tetrapak, and then I'm working it in to the rest of the plate as well now. Quite important to push the ink down into all the crevices. That's what gives it its interesting look when it's actually printed. So again, this is much speeded up, wiping around the edges to make sure it doesn't seep out into the print and the picture. Trying to get a bit of depth in my ink as well, so some areas are slightly more rubbed than others. So I've pre-soaked my paper, so here I'm just blotting out the excess water. I don't have any blotting paper, but I find that a tea towel works just as well. So that's now all ready. So just taking the shine really off, but the paper's been soaking for quite a while, so I know it should be quite flexible. I'm going to put a piece of tissue paper down to protect the plate and the bed of the printer, and then my plate carefully down, followed by the paper and more tissue paper on top. All the tissue paper's there to protect the bed of the printer and the felt blankets as well. I say printer quite loosely. This is my roller printer, but it's actually an old die cutting machine. But it works quite effectively, and it's quite portable, which is really good. So I'm quite pleased that this is at the right pressure as well. You can see there it's embossed really nicely onto that paper. So let's have a look at this one. More like a grey cat. However, I'm quite pleased with that. It really shows up all the various markings. See the crease in the tetrapak there, which I love the look of that in these prints. Oh, and an added bonus. Really pleased with the smeary inks shapes for the tissue paper too. So I think I'll keep that and use it for wrapping something up. So I'm now on my my next test print. Left a little bit more ink on this one, so that the cat looks a bit less grey. Yeah, much better, much happier with that one. And so I continued on. This time I've inked up the grass plate as well. So I'm just messing about with different shades of green and seeing what they turned out like. Moving on now, I'm trying to fit here the cat in with the grass very carefully. I wanted it to look as though the cat was walking through the grass. And I've also, at this point, prepared the plate for the sunflower as well, or the sunflowers. So I'm going to be trying very carefully to fix those in as well. I want it to look like the cat's walking through not only the grass but the sunflowers as well. So just fitting the leaves of the sunflowers around the cat there. I'm quite happy with the composition there. That's the one that I was after. And again, the blanket goes on, it goes through the roller, and it prints off beautifully embossed yet again. I'm really pleased with how that looks on that side, really. But yeah, here we are. That's the first print off the press, as they say. I've done 4 altogether, and they're all slightly different. Each time you ink up, you get different shades together, you get different textures. It's one of the nice things about printing in this way. 4 altogether, so that's my cat walking through the sunflowers. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.